course, I had a clock going off. It's
Welcome,
perfect.
everyone.
Hello. Hi, everyone. Welcome. We're going to wait for a couple more minutes just to make sure everybody joins. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the talk. We'll start in approximately 30 seconds just to make sure everybody joins. We have enough people. Cool. Okay. Okay. So, welcome everyone. I think we can start now. Welcome to a Splunk Tech Talk. We are happy to talk to you about application management in target app installation for Victoria Experience. Before we start, just a quick warm-up round with some questions. So you should be seeing a questionnaire on your screen right now. And if you could indicate which Splunk experience are you using, Splunk Cloud Classic, Victoria, maybe you're using Splunk Enterprise or some other combination of those, maybe, or just interested in one of those offerings. That would be nice and give us some idea of what is the cross-section present here on the talk. Thank you so much. We have about 1/3 of the people answered so far. About a half now. Just a bit more. Okay. Cool. We still have quite a lot of people joining in, so I'm gonna give it another maybe 20 seconds because just like a dozen of people just joined. So for those who just joined, we're just starting up. This is just a warming up little questionnaire. If you could indicate which kind of Splunk experience are you using, Classic, Victoria, or Enterprise, it'll be useful for us. And we're gonna proceed with the answers we have so far. So it's fairly evenly split. We have 28% Classic, 28% Victoria, exactly the same amount, Enterprise 21%, and some combination of both or other 21. Cool. So that's good to know. Just a quick word about both of us. My name is Gregory. I'm a product manager for application management experience at Splunk, and together with me is Szymon. Szymon?
Hello, I'm Szymon. I'm Szymon Kurzępa. I'm software engineer at Splunk, and I'm working in app deployment team. Thanks, Greg.
Okay. Szymon is a lead developer on this feature. His help is much appreciated, both with development and on this call. Thank you. a lot. He will be helping me to answer some of the more technical questions, something maybe more that I'm not aware of. And the things that we'll cover today is the feature itself, a little bit of a historical background as to like why are we building this, what's the story behind this feature being built. This feature is, we're aware that it's a blocker for many of our customers to be migrating to Victoria Experience. So we'll talk a little bit about the migration path, but what can you do to migrate, and how does that kind of map to the whole migration experience. And we'll also introduce things on our roadmap, things that are connected with this feature, and obviously we'll have a demo in the middle. So like we will have an actual recording of search head with this feature turned on, so you can see how to use it. And we'll have ourselves a Q&A session in the end. So if you have any questions, please use the Q&A functionality, and we're going to be addressing all of that in the end of the session. So let's kick off with kind of an introduction to the feature itself. The idea that this is heavily inspired on, I believe it's like 5th most voted idea on the Splunk idea tracker, is called select which search head to install on, or something like this. It's quite a bad name for a feature. It's quite a mouthful, so we ended up on the target application install as a sort of a pronounceable version of it. And it's a feature that many of our clients would need. And I guess the best example would be is, imagine a big company that is using Splunk. They have lots of different teams and different use cases for that. So the most typical use case would be a company that has several search heads, 2, 3, 4, would be within like a normal amount of usual amount of search heads that we would expect. And those typically split into sort of like teams or personas or maybe pillars in the organization, where one of the search heads would represent more of like a DevOps type of use case, where a lot of logs, not necessarily very sensitive ones, but your system logs and stuff from the fleet that the company has would be going through there. So there is a bunch of Splunk applications that are very useful in that use case. Integration with various cloud providers, let's say a Unix technical add-on, something regarding the system logs, yeah, all those sort of use cases and apps for them. Then you would have a premium search head. So a search head where premium app, one or plural, are installed, and that's a separate set of use cases, and very often a separate set of people who are using those. And something like a search head that is smaller in size, doesn't deal with that much traffic, but for example, is dedicated to a team that is working in fraud detection or something, some kind of area which is extremely sensitive, and it's a separate team that is functionally working in different organizations than before, than the people that I've just mentioned. So they have very different apps. Very often they have private applications that are written specifically for this super like sensitive use case. And those applications need to be handled by this team. Let's call it a fraud analyst team for convenience. So this kind of paints a picture of a desire to separate the workloads, separate the configurations, and the way Splunk manages configurations and stores them is within an application concept. So as this picture kind of like symbolically represents, this is how target application install kind of came to be, and problem space it exists to address. So let's have a little bit of a historical overview of how this feature and this capability looks in different Splunk experiences. Starting with Splunk Classic. In Splunk Classic, any application subset can be installed on any of the search heads of your deployment. Doesn't matter how many you have. There are literally no limitations. Self-service application, as in you can go into a web UI and click install button on it, is available on the primary search head or search head cluster. And everything else, applications on non-primary search head and premium search heads, are managed by Splunk, by the teams at Splunk with the gate function to do that for you. So customers who have those in such a configuration would raise a support ticket or speak to their customer representative who would raise a support ticket, and that would then be done as part of business as usual operations. Splunk Cloud Victoria experience pre 10.2, so basically our entire fleet at the moment, in a way is very similar. All applications go to every search head. All applications go to every indexer. And you can think about this is the concept of superset, right? So like you multiply everything by everything. All of your apps go to the entire indexer or ingester tier. Some clients install applications and disable them on all but one search head, kind of achieving similar functionality to what I was just describing, where you would have a bunch of apps, let's say for fraud analysts, on this one search head available to them. For some clients, that's enough. That's a workaround. For this you need to install these apps and then do this manually. It's not very user friendly, I would guess. I think the thing that I forgot to mention when describing this problem space is that for many of our clients, even listing the names of the apps on the other search head is an unacceptable scenario, right? So for these type of customers, it's not acceptable to install an app and then disable them on all the other search heads because other people can see it, and like that's just not acceptable. So additionally, we have clients who have migrated to Victoria Experience from Classic, and they need this targeting outcome. So the way they do it is they manage all of their applications with the help of our support and TechOps teams. So basically, every application operation is a support ticket, and this is how we help those clients to achieve this outcome. So Target App installation is coming to Victoria Experience 10.2.25.10 in AWS and onwards. So what changes? First of all, in 10.2, DI feature is a conditional availability. So this is basically a feature behind a feature flag. You can request this feature by opening a support ticket. Immediately, nothing will happen. During your next maintenance window, whenever that's scheduled with your support team, we will enable this application for your stack. Every application will remain exactly where it is. Functionally, nothing changes. But after this maintenance window and the enablement, you will be able to remove the apps. If you have installed apps, remember, like apps go everywhere in current Victoria stacks. So let's say you have 3 search heads and you've installed an application and it's in 3 different places. So after the enablement of this feature, you will be able to delete, let's say, one of them from search head 2 and remain in search head 1 and 3. And also after that, newly installed applications using ACS or something we call in-product app browser, the Manage Apps page, will also only go to the search head, which is either targeted in ACS or in terms of user interface, whichever URL you have in your browser, whichever page you're accessing this from. This is the search head or search cluster that you will be installing this application on. So that's basic summary of PAI.
And now that's time for demo to see that in action. So what we're gonna see is targeted app installation on the stack where the feature is enabled, and we're gonna see it both in web UI and then in ACS in admin config service CLI interface. So let's just see it. Let's see how targeted app installation works in Splunk Web UI. I have a stack here called Victoria with TAI as targeted app installation, and this stack has two separate search heads, search head 1 and search head 2. I opened Web UI for this in the browser. Let's try to install some app on search head 1 and see an effect on all search heads of the stack. I selected this app. I have to, of course, agree and enter my credentials for Splunk base. Okay, the app was installed. And now let's see Manage Apps page for search head 1 and for search head 2 as well. And let's try to find the app there. The app is here and on the second search head. It cannot be found because with targeted app installation enabled, the app was installed only to search head 1. And now let's try to do another thing. Let's try to update an app that I prepared before. It is installed in the previous version. And this is installed not only to search head 1, but it is also present on search head 2. Let's try to upgrade this app on search head 1. Okay, we can just get back to the list of apps. And we can see that app is in the new version and update has disappeared on search head 1 and similarly on search head 2. On Victoria stacks, we have only a single version of the given app, and this is kept with targeted app installation as well. And right now, let's try to uninstall an app. We can just use this app on the search head 2 and see an effect of this. Okay, that was quick. The app disappeared from search head 2. Let's refresh here, but it didn't disappear from search head 1. Targeted app installation allows to selectively delete apps on search heads. This is admin config service CLI. Let's try to install a private app only on search head 1. To do that, we need to use already existing ACS feature search head targeting to select search head 1 as a target of our ACS operations. And then we will use this install private command to install our private app. The private app is within this package in the local directory, and also we need to specify this new scope local parameter that will make the installation process limited only to search head that we are targeting. And see, using the app describe command, that the app was installed to search head 1, then switch to search head 2 and use the same command to see that the app cannot be found on search head 2, which means it was selectively installed only on search head 1. Scope local parameter can also be used in Splunk base, app installation, and in app uninstall command. Yes, I would add just to that what we just saw, that the target app installation allows what Greg said before, and we saw it on the video. So after the migration after enabling the feature, actually after enabling the feature of target app installation, it will be possible just to go search head by search head wherever you don't want to have some app and just delete it either through web UI or using the ACS CLI command that you just saw. I would also like to say that ACS previous behavior will be kept. So what I mean by that is that admin config service CLI is backwards compatible. So it's still possible to install app to all search heads or all across the stack, just simply by not specifying scope local parameter. And thank you for it. Greg, over to you.
Yep, thank you so much. I was just looking at the attendee list, so we'll have a interesting Q&A, I think, and just a little bit of a connected, I guess, question to this feature is the migration path. So, like, we're very well aware that a lot of our customers have not migrated from the classic experience to the Victoria experience, predominantly because of the lack of this feature. And this opens this opportunity for such customers to start their migration journey and experience all the benefits that Victoria gives them. And this is a short slide regarding of what you can do to make that happen now that it's available to your organization. So first of all, it's kind of self-explanatory, but still, first of all, update all of your apps to latest versions available. The platform needs to be compatible, and the latest version of Splunk needs to be running the latest versions of various cryptographic libraries and runtime, Python, and other things. So we unfortunately cannot continue running very old applications and very old versions, because that would be threatening the security of your own deployment and the deployment of other clients of ours. So please update all of your apps, whether those are Splunk-based apps or if those are your private apps, then use App Inspect. That will point out the state of your applications, rescan them again, and you will learn all of the changes that the latest version of App Inspect are recommending. That will be putting you in a good place for a fast migration. The features that Shimon just shown come with the latest version of ACS CLI, latest as of now. If you're an existing customer and you had that CLI installed before, it's probably a good idea to update the version of the CLI to make sure those are included. Please contact your account team and review any blockers for the migration. We have a separate team dedicated to tracking all of the various types of issues that could come up with the migration, and we are ready to answer any of your questions. We also have two articles on Lantern linked on this slide that, depending on which version are you migrating from or to, is it directly to 10 or directly from to 10.2 or with a stopgap, you can access both of those articles and read about some of the deprecations, some of the changes that are backward incompatible in version 10.0. So those are the articles that might be of interest. And the last thing that we wanted to mention is that migration from Cloud Classic to Victoria with TI enabled will be starting to be scheduled later this year. You should expect to hear from firmware account team on that one. So thanks a lot. And again, we're very happy that this will enable our customers to migrate to the latest version of Victoria and share all the improvements that are provided there. We're happy to answer any of your questions about this. And coming soon, things in our backlog, in our team's backlog, and some other teams at Splunk that now kind of come into focus now that this feature is developed. So first of all, GCP and Azure support are coming. They're coming very, very soon. You shouldn't worry about this. They're already in development. We have already prioritized this, and it's a guarantee that they will be there. Just a little bit of time. Target app installation will be released in general availability later this year, meaning that in 10.1 on Amazon, it's only for the customers that explicitly ask for this, and this is enabled with the feature flag. We will reach a point during this year when we will enable this for the entire fleet on AWS, GCP, and Azure. 10.2, yes, I said something else. 10.2. Yeah, so we will reach a point later this year when we will announce this obviously on the blog post and everything, but we'll enable this for our entire fleet all in one go. You might know our Terraform provider from, we have two, and you might know the Splunk Cloud provider under the link that is now on the screen. So we have recently added the application support to that provider, so you can install apps with that provider, and we will support target app installation in that provider in the very soon future. It is also currently under development. I will be speaking about managing applications with Terraform in next installments of Tech Talks. So tune in to learn more about that, or if you have interest in configuration as code applied to Splunk, that would be a very interesting talk for you, I'm sure. I think that is last slide with the content that we have. So there is a link to the documentation to this feature. It's under admin manual, I believe. There is a new page dedicated to TI, and the two Lantern articles on the migration experience that I've just mentioned. That concludes our talk and the content that we had prepared. We warmly welcome you to use Q&A. We've set aside ample amount of time to answer that, and just let me open the Q&A zone so that I can see which questions are there. There are not many questions so far, so please feel free to use this opportunity. We're here with Shimon, who's a lead developer on this feature. And unlike myself, he can answer all sorts of complicated questions, but I hope I'll be able to answer some of that as well. Okay, so there's one I think we have already addressed, right? When will this feature be available in Victoria for GCP? So that is being in active development right now. I think 10.4 is a safe bet. What do you say, Shimon?
Yeah, I think it should be possible. True.
Sure. Okay. Another one is very interesting question. During the upgrade, does the upgrade of an app on Searchit 1 also upgrade the app on Searchit 2? So, Shimon, your favorite question.
Yes. I already answered it there, but it's definitely worth saying. So all the features, so Target app installation was designed in a way to be fully backwards compatible with the current behavior of Victoria. So to reach that, we had to be compliant with the assumption that was given that there is only a single version of the given app across the stack. We made a decision in this way, and the natural consequence of that compliance or compatibility, backwards compatibility, is that that if you install this app, then it will naturally be installed in every place where it was installed. So maybe I will just say it in a simpler way. So if you have SearchHead 1, SearchHead 2, and SearchHead 3, and your app is installed on SearchHead 1 and SearchHead 3, and you update it on SearchHead 1, then as a consequence, it will be updated on SearchHead 3. We are, of course, open for any kind of feedback out of this, but we wanted to deliver as much value in a convenient way in this iteration as possible.
Cool. Thanks, Shimon. Chris, does that make sense? If you have any more questions, I believe you can ask a follow-up question with the feature, or just ask another one. We'll be happy to answer that. Okay.
So I see another question, the one probably, Greg, that you are having a look at as well. Yes. So yes, what we give is an ability to select the search head when you install an app. You are either naturally selecting a search head for the app to be installed by entering web UI for the specific search head, or you are explicitly targeting that with ACS. So there is until now there is no explicit way to deploy some app only to indexers. Indexers are always following. So in case your app is installed to any search head, it will always be automatically installed on indexers.
And so that's of great interest to us. So please, if you could indicate if there is if there's a use case where you need an app to be installed only on indexer tier and on none of the search heads, if that's the case, we'd love to hear from you, and like any requirements of this kind. We actually had much debate about whether this is something that will be coming up with our clients. So that would be very useful to know. We have many more questions coming in. So cool.
And Keith, if I didn't get it right, then please write once again a follow-up question, and we can, of course, answer that.
Cool. The next one says, we're in Splunk Cloud currently planning to move to Victoria. We're finding significant amount of unmanaged apps in our environment, which seems to be keeping us from moving forward. Have other customers experienced this, and what was the issue for them? Okay, so you'll be happy to know that we have written a automation to help our clients with this so-called unmanaged apps, to help scope out how many of them do they have and what are the issues that are there. I think the latest that I have heard is that automation has been run against several customers in kind of like more manual way, but we're about to run this against our entire fleet, and we will have a report for all of our customers with this list of unmanaged apps. In very short summary, those are the legacy applications that were created before and as self-service app install interfaces were developed. So before those, the teams managing the platform would create applications that are not reflected in any of the self-service app management interfaces. So like they're not a part of a database. We don't have the metadata about them, and like they keep working in the background, but we don't like see them from what my team, Shimon, and others are managing. So this is how kind of an unmanaged app comes to be. And I'll make a note for this. Just make a quick note to myself to address this. Reach out to you, Joe, just to make sure that we have sent you the report of unmanaged apps on your account, and we'll pick it up from there. So let me just take a quick screenshot just in case this goes away. Cool. Yep. Next question.
Yeah, the one from Suman, if I say the name correctly, sorry, if it's not the way. Is the VictorOps app setup strictly one-way install, or it also sync download changes back to the Git repo? So I'm just missing something here. But probably you mean VictorOps just as an app, or VictorOps app. Okay, VictorOps app setup. So the things that we've shown here, so targeted app installation and in general self-service app installation, both in WebUI and ACS, is rather one way. If you're asking about things like getting your app installed app back, there is correct me, Greg, if I'm wrong, but there is app export possibility in Splunk Cloud. And there is also, and if you mean something like managing your apps through version control, then the answer is probably Terraform that Greg mentioned at the end. That is another feature developed in our team that will also be available soon.
And there is a follow-up regarding the question about installing only on indexers universal forwarder feeds with props transforms to mask data pre-indexing. Okay, all right. So you don't want that application to be installed on search heads. Okay, that's good. That's good to know. We will have a look at that opportunity. And like, since we're talking about this now, I was wondering whether something even more radical as like targeting some subset of the indexers would be a feature that is of interest to customers. So if that's the case, please let me know, and it would be interesting to learn like how does that work and what are the requirements there. Oh, we have many more questions. That's great. Thank you so much, and keep them coming.
That's great. Yeah, that's great to see that.
Yeah. Okay, cool. So
yeah, we've got another one maybe that I can answer also from Suman, that does installing an app, whether through Splunk Web or ACS, require a restart, or is it applied without needing one? So the best answer to that is this behavior is also the same as it was before enabling the feature. So nothing has changed here, which I believe is if the app doesn't, some apps may require a restart, some others not, and the experience will be the same.
Yeah, we're working on the reducing of the amount of apps that necessitate a restart or suggest making one. That amount has gone down quite significantly. We have addressed kind of like several repeated offenders, this might not have propagated down like older versions of apps and older versions of Splunk as much as the newer ones. So we encourage you to update the latest versions to see that come into effect. But yeah, target app installation does not influence restart in any way. So like it will not make any of the apps restart any more often than they did before.
And we can go to the next one from Matthew. So sometimes you may install an add-on for props transforms so they can apply for data ingested via a hack. So it's nice to target just ingesters, if I'm understanding the question correctly. So yeah, what I can say is number one information is that whether you install when you install an app to any search head, the part of configuration relevant for indexers will land and will be installed on them. So if you have props or transforms and you just install an app with that on search head 1, then all of these will land on indexers anyway. So probably from functional perspective, it should be working all fine if you just decide to install on one of the search heads. But of course, we are thinking about, as Greg also said, that we are open to give this possibility. We need to yet to discuss that, but of course, we are open to give that possibility to install some app only on indexer without having search heads targeted.
Yeah. So if you have a need to install only on indexer tier, it would be interesting to know if there's something that applies only to indexers or like indexers and ingesters, which are I believe are currently managed from like the same power set of all the apps and all the search heads. So just like how granular do you want to break this down? And like what possible use cases with this do you foresee would be a very interesting question that we were asking ourselves designing this.
Yeah, I would just once again say that our main goal, at least for this iteration of the feature, was to make the experience and enabling the feature as smooth as possible and give you the power to selectively delete the apps wherever you don't need them.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks. The next question is, I have an answer to that. So we will be working on a single kind of UI representation of your apps on different search heads and their versions. So sort of like a orchestration view that you would be able to access. That is something that we're aiming to build in the future. The necessary requirement for us to build that would be an identity that spans the entire stack. So without kind of running into my peer PM's area of expertise, I think like once we enabled something like OAuth, for example, where you would be able to use that identity to log into every search head or search cluster on your stack, you would need to be using that on your stack for us to be able to kind of show you this overarching orchestration view. So that's like a hard technological requirement that your stack would need to meet for us to even enable that feature for you if it was like available for our clients. So we want to build that a lot. That made a lot of sense. Once we started working this feature, that was on the drawing board from the get-go, but that would need some technologies that are currently being developed. So I hope that addresses your question. Yeah, sure. Thanks for creating the idea. It's great to see these ideas. Please keep them coming. As a member of the PM team, I can assure you that we do look at the idea tracker. It's actively monitored, read, discussed. So please keep them coming, and I'll be creating some follow-up ideas for this one and other in application management. So as I mentioned in the introduction, I run the entire app management experience, both on cloud and in on-prem. So if you have some other ideas regarding installing apps or managing them, please either create ideas or use the community Slack space where you can find me with my full name and surname. So we can have a conversation about whatever you want built. That would be very exciting. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Yeah. Will automation do more than just provide report, or will it bring the apps into a managed status? I think we will likely just create that report for you and run. Basically, the answer to that question is App Inspect, right? So like scanning your apps with App Inspect should point out all the problems and incompatibilities with the platform that exist and the ways for you to address that. So after you get the report, you should be running the App Inspect against the apps in that report, and that should provide you with the information that you need to do this. Again, I want to remind you that App Export feature exists. So any of your apps that you have, and if they're visible in the UI, you can use ACS to export that application, download it to your machine, and scan that against the App Inspect, or make any adjustments, or just like backup it for your purposes. So that might be useful in this scenario. And I'll make a note to reach out to you, Joe, to just learn more about your account and the apps on that account, and just like be in touch with you and make sure that's being handled. Thank you so much for letting us know. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Yes. So it's lack of metadata, basically. Okay. Good. I think we have that handled. We have still 10 minutes to go. So any questions about managing apps?
Yeah, I can ask one more that appeared here. So from Leia, are there common issues customer could or have experienced with the TAI feature? So I think the only surprise that can be is the first question that was already answered regarding updates. So the only misleading thing may be that it's still your Victoria stack after enabling targeted app installation. This doesn't mean that you have a completely full isolation between search heads. So we still keep this assumption that there is only one version of the given app on your stack. So what I mean by saying that, if you have some app on search head 1 and on search head 3, and two users are logged into these two search heads, and some user upgrades the app on search head 1, then it will be also upgraded on search head and everywhere else that it's installed. So this is the only thing that I think could be misleading with this feature, but all the rest I think should not be surprising to clients. Rather, I would say it should be a source of satisfaction and happiness. I would just maybe add to that as I said also before, there is still a way to install an app to all nodes of the stack at once, and this is using admin config service, either CLI or HTTP interface. Because right now there will be no way after enabling this feature to install an app to all subsets of the stack in the given UI. And this was also done deliberately because of the reasons that Greg mentioned before, but also because the main point for having the most important point for having targeted app installation was for one users or one admins on one search head to not to see some apps that were only installed on the second search head, and that's the goal that we wanted to reach.
Okay, cool. Cool. Thanks a lot. All right, so I think we had a fairly eventful Q&A. Thanks a lot for all of your questions. Again, please use our community channels, our community Slack, as well as Lantern. Please let me know if the documentation page for TI that is linked and documents here is answering all of your questions with or is it pop-up? Like, do you want to provide any feedback? So if you have any questions, it will go right to me. But we have one more question. When using the REST API on the SPL line, there is no log entry for which tier it is installed on. Okay. Shimon, maybe just trying to parse this in my head.
Yeah, I'm trying as well. But it's more about the using probably REST commands in SPL and the answer that the user can see in search there.
Okay.
So probably what Albert means is that there is no not pointed out where the app is installed, right? After having a REST query in SPL line. Is this what you meant?
So the apps can come basically from two places, either Splunk base or they can be your private apps. And you can see that on the left top of your screen. You can go the drop down apps, manage apps, that will show you all the Splunk base apps, and then you can have thank you so much.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
That would be the answer. I would also say, like, from the tier perspective, it like in Victoria, if you install an app, it goes everywhere. So that was probably not required on Victoria itself.
Yeah, and also ACS described command also shows you like the provenance of the apps. So whether those are Splunk base or private and their versions. But yeah, please reach out to me on the Slack channel or via support ticket with my name in it, and we'll figure this out for you. Thank you so much. We have a couple more minutes for any questions. I don't think any more questions are coming through, it appears. So thank you so much. Please use of the links and the resources provided in this deck. Thank you so much for coming, and see you in next editions of Splunk Tech Talk. Bye.
Thank you very much. Bye.